dare you talk about the masterpiece that is Ravens? It is a stunning piece of cinema that shouldn't even be uttered by mere mortals like you. J. Edwards is a literal genius amongst men and a literal god, and you have no right to besmirch his name.
When I first started writing out, I kind of wanted to do something that commented on the movie industry, particularly in its current era, because it's all just been, remakes, sequels, IP, and I kind of wanted something to kind of be like a commentary on that. I also wanted to be sort of like a satire and commentary on kind of like the snobby film bros, or like the people online who who just go insane and go crazy, over a certain film. And I kind of wanted it to be sort of like a kind of a parody of that and like a satire, but also having it kind of like basically having like a message of being like, it's okay to have like different opinions about film, as long as as long as you're civil.
It's okay, Mike. Just try to relax. It's all in your head.
When I first read it, I thought it was a very interesting story. I had never worked with a story like that. I usually don't do comedy, but I was like, you know what? It has an interesting plot, why not? And also I liked your vision of making it noir and then switching back to reality, just to show that everything was in his head and all of that. I really connected with it. And also I love noir. I love noir films. But yeah, I feel like this story definitely has some peak moments. It does have a beginning, middle, and end for sure. And honestly, I think my favorite part of the story is just the end, because it's just so different and crazy. And I feel like it fits pretty well.
Mike. My name is Mike. Come closer. Let me see you.
I imagined it very close to how we actually executed it, to be fair. There was slight differences. I didn't expect it to be I expected it to be fully dark, but I sort of found that there was a lot of comedic reliefs to it, and it had many light and dark moments to it. So I think that was the main difference from when I first read it. But I definitely enjoyed exploring those contrasts.
Well, first of all, I was impressed by the depth of the writing. Not only is it a great internal psychological drama, but it's also an interesting critique on the state of film as it is today. So I loved it from the get-go, and it worked out even better than I imagined, and I was pretty impressed at the outset.
Well, I thought it was very interesting. I think it was a great way to shed light on just how the industry seems to be and how Hollywood is kind of leaning lately. And it took a really cool, dark twist to that. And I think it will, for anybody to watch it, I think it'll actually probably inspire them to go and find these old films and wait, let me look into it. And I think it'll be really good for the classic Hollywood. I think it'll bring some of that back. But yeah, I liked the vibe and the feeling, and I think with the locations and everything, I think we did really accomplish that.
No, he's not.
Not what, dude?
Say it has changed you. Please, I need you emotionally changed.
Honestly, I imagined it kind of like how we shot it. I just didn't expect all the different angles and stuff, because that made it a little bit hard for sound to get in there for some of the shots. If you didn't hear that, our DP just went whoops.
did you first imagine the characters of this film?
Okay, so for Mike, I imagine him as kind of being like a snobby, you know, film buff, you know, like, oh, I know everything about film, like I'm like more, I know everything about the landscape of cinema. Like he imagines that, but like in real life, he really isn't. He's kind of like just like a regular, you know, everyday dude. So for Jay Edwards, that was actually a really interesting part to write for me personally, because I kind of imagined a lot of like Orson Welles, Alfred Hitchcock, like those like very old-timey directors who are like from like the 30s or 40s, who are very, you know, flamboyant and are very, you know, are known for having very like brash personalities. I also, for the character of Mike, I also kind of like Tucker, our actor who played Jay Edwards, actually pointed this out to me, but he said that Mike is basically me. Like, it's basically kind of like I add like a little bit of like myself in the movie, and like it's kind of like, you know, me and my idol, which is Ralph Bakshi. He's kind of like Ralph Bakshi is kind of, you know, like I'm like kind of like talking to him in some way. So like when he said that to me, I kind of like took that into thought, and like that's how I portrayed it on screen. When you were working on this film, what type of did your like experience as a DP yourself? Did it like enhance anyway?
For sure, yeah. This was definitely a learning experience. When I was shooting most of the film, if I'm honest with you, I feel like, yes, I had a vision from pre-production and all of this and that, but as we got on set and some things were happening, and again, like in every set, there's problems, there's issues. I feel like it turned out slightly different, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, because I feel like that's a part of film. You gotta learn how to problem solve and just try your best to achieve the vision of the director. So I think I did learn a lot. Am I happy with what we got? Yes, I am very happy. Do I think I could have done better? Always, because there's always room to improve, but I'm really thankful for this set, because I definitely a learning experience.
Oh yeah, like honestly, like every set you go on, I feel like it's a new experience. You learn different things, especially working with new people. This was the first time I like worked with someone in a SCAD film who was much older, and who gave like a good intake on the character that from when I first read it. So it was really helpful, honestly, like especially learning from him and like people around me. And like especially it was interesting in the sense that I really learned how to just listen, and like especially with the conversations we were having, and just be instead of trying to force things like whilst acting. So definitely learned. I explained that really bad, but yeah, I learned how to do that better.
I have experience, but it's quite light, and this is probably the most, you know, my sets in the past, they've been indie, 5 people with a camera, just figure something out. This was the most structured I've probably had, so there's a lot of learning to be done there, and especially jumping in for our 6 crew teams to hold the boom. I've never held the boom mic before, but there's just a lot of stuff you have to be open to learning at every point, and I definitely did a lot.
When you first learned about Jay Edwards and Mike and all the characters, and particularly that ending, how did it like make you feel emotionally, and particularly with the characters? Like, what were like your first initial thoughts when you read them in script form?
I think they were very compelling characters, and they were they were caricatures. You know, they had their very specific traits about them that really made them who they were. And just the second that we were on set and I heard Tucker, our Jay Edwards, talk for the first time, I knew we had the character down completely. Like, he is amazing, and I loved watching him work. And I think the characters were just down completely perfectly.
When you first read the script, what like sound effects or like things, you know, audio-wise were you imagining, particularly with the characters and the setting?
Well, I wasn't imagining a lot because as the production mixer, my job is just to like get good production audio. That's mainly the job of the sound designer in post. So my brain just went, okay, got to make sure I have at least 3 lobs for these characters, and just like basically if it's an outside set, I had to make sure I got the blimp and everything.